Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 22 with the Detroit Tigers. It is May 1st, 2027. And it's been a rough start for us. We are 12 and 15. We're 3 games out of first place. And things aren't going well. We're not pitching. Our defense is not as good as I would. Actually, our defense is middle of the road. It's not great. And we're certainly not hitting. If you take a look just at a cursory glance, you can see Elijah Green is hitting under 200. Bryce Ball's at 206. Lou is at 228. Marcelo Myers at 250. Corey Collins, 222. Morrissey at 232. So we've got a lot of low batting averages. We are 11th in the American League in home runs. And our pitching, which was expected to be, assuming I spent a lot of time focusing on our pitching staff, obviously, in the offseason, and it hasn't been great. Emerson Hancock's been pretty good. Grayson Rodriguez has been pretty good, but Sanders, Mize, and Nicorak have not been good. So this is going to be I don't want to say a pivotal year, but this could be a transitional year for us. We'll see how things go here over the next month, up until we get into July. I'm not going to, I don't know how many moves I'm going to make here in May, but there were some things that I've been thinking about sort of since I recorded last. And I would say the most drastic would be moving on from Casey Mize. He's 30 years old. He is due $9 million this year, then 11, 13, 15, and 17 for the next 4 years. He seems to have peaked at what he is, which is a decent stuff, high control, low movement pitcher. I don't know. I mean, what was the best? Yeah, I mean, the best year we got out of Casey Mize was all the way back in 2022 when he was 15 and 16. He's only once put up an ERA sub 4 his last year and a half. He's been over 5. So I don't know if that's the right move, but here's what I do know is that we can't afford to re-sign Mike Nicorak the way things are right now. Not that he's been great either, but he's 30 years old. He's a ground ball pitcher. He's got good stuff. And between he and Mize, he's a better pitcher. So if I can only bring back one of these guys, it's going to be Casey. It's going to be Mike Nicorak. And in order to do that, I would need to move on from Casey Mize. Grayson Rodriguez wants a lot of money now. I don't know that we can afford to bring him back. So this is going to be an interesting season. We have to hope that some of our prospects start to make some leaps here. Specifically, Charles Hayden Jones, who was our number 2 pick a year ago. You can see he looks pretty solid. Trayvon Balog, who was our number 1 pick a couple years ago. He hasn't developed as much as we would like, but he's getting there. Stuff, movement, all look pretty good. His control is not quite where we need it yet. So we have a couple of good pitching relief prospects. John Takelet from Mid Hassad. And there are some players here that can help us down the road. So this may end up being a transitional year. We'll see how the next couple months go, and we'll just sort of figure it out. So let's quickly take a look at the stats before we sim ahead here. So you can see right off the bat, Emerson Hancock put up 1 WAR through the first month. He's 1-1, 2.83 ERA has been good. Trevor Stephan, who we picked up last season at the trade deadline, has continued to pitch well for us. Jake Eater, who we called up last season, has been quite good in a bullpen role. He could probably be a starter if we needed him to, but his stuff plays really, really well out of the pen. Talked a little bit about Nicorak. Abel's actually been good in a bullpen role. Again, his stuff plays a lot better in the pen than it does as a starter. If you look, we move him to starter. His stuff goes from an 81 to a 67, so that's a pretty precipitous drop. So I like him more out of the pen, and frankly, he may end up having more value to us out of the pen. Will Sanders has, I don't want to say hasn't really regressed. I mean, this is only his 3rd season, but definitely not the start we're looking for. The ratings suggest there's more there, so I'm fine with it. We talked about Mize. Giles is another one we may potentially look to move on from if we decide that this year is a bust. We likely won't re-sign him, especially to that. He's provided us a ton of value here over the couple of years he's been with us, but might be time to move on. Hess has been bad this year. Adam Hill has been fine. We talked about Rodriguez. De Los Santos has been, he and Tommy Doyle have both been pretty terrible. From a lineup perspective, yeah, it hasn't been pretty offensively. Marcelo Meyer is our top WAR player at 1 WAR. He's only hitting 250. The on-base percentage and the slugging are nice, so I suspect that by the time the season's over, he'll be fine. Same thing with Lou. OPS of almost 760, good on base, good slugging. The average just isn't there, but again, his ratings suggest that he'll be fine. Alex Verdugo has hit quite well, 832. He's got a team leading 10 doubles. We just signed him, and it's a short-term deal, so I likely won't move on from him unless things kind of go right down the drain. We really are only on the hook for him this year and next. Keston Hiura has gotten off to a decent start for us, 866 on base, doing a OPS, doing a nice job with the bat. Defensively, he's above average too, and he's a leader. Jeff McNeil, I'm starting him in left, but I don't know how crazy I am about that. His bat so far hasn't covered up for the fact that he's negative zone rating and he's below average offensively. Jordan Walker's gotten off to a nice start, and then beyond that, it's been really bad. Again, Corey Collins, 1 home run, only OPSing 692. Jashia Morrissey, while providing good defense, 592 OPS isn't going to get it done. A 56 OPS plus. Look at some of these OPS pluses. 67, 61, 63, 56, a 30 out of Elijah Green, who's just been awful with the bat, and his backup, Gilberto Jimenez, has been terrible. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to see if we can move on. I can't because I was looking for some trades offline just to kind of see what was available. So I'm going to go ahead and sim ahead today, and then we're going to see if we can move on from Gilberto Jimenez with his $5 million. We went 11-4, so that's nice. That's a good start to the playthrough. And again, Verdugo, 3 hits, 3 runs scored. Meyer, 2 hits, 4 RBIs. Ball, 2 hits. McNeil hit his second home run of the season. We got a good start out of Mize just as I talk about trading him. So let's go to the lineups and see about trading Jimenez. Let's just see. Because we have, we can call up... who can we call up? We got a couple of minor league outfielders that we can call up. I don't really know what I'm looking for. Again, I think it's the kind of thing where we potentially need to punt on this season. So, just finding any sort of asset, I think is a positive. So let's just take a look and see what's available here. Nolan Jones wouldn't be a bad get, but at 8.3, that sort of defeats the purpose. We could bring in Jamison Hanna. He's been really good in our Rockies playthrough as a backup outfielder. Peguero may not be a bad option. Maybe I'd like someone to replace McNeil out in left. I'd like to keep McNeil in sort of that pinch hit role. It's going to be hard to find a center fielder, it's funny. I try to trade Jimenez for a left fielder. I suppose I could just stick Jimenez in left and see how he does, but I don't really want to do that. McKenna's making too much money. I don't think we will get a prospect of note. Yeah, what if we do 75% of his contract? Does that change anything? A bunch of 2-star prospects. That doesn't help. But there's a lot of them. Nick McLean. Meh. I'm not going to get anything spectacular for Jimenez, whose contract is up at the end of the year. So if we can eat a little bit of the contract and pick up somebody that we can stick in left for a couple of years, that's probably the way I'm going to go. Yoelqui Cespedes isn't a bad option. Excuse me. The Indians really want him. I could bring in someone. He's a free agent after this season, too. If Freeman wasn't a free agent after this year, that might have been a pretty solid get. Mickey Moniak. I mean, he can't really play left field, but and he's a free agent after this year too. All these guys are free agents after this year. That doesn't really help me, guys. Dodgers. I'm always up for sending a contract that I don't want to pay to the Dodgers. That would be good. Adrian Del Castillo. Good hitting, poor fielding catcher. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are kind of in the same boat as me, looking to move on from contracts that they don't want to pay. Logan Wyatt, he's a decent bat. Possible arbitration. Shane Baz, fly ball pitcher, meh. Taj Bradley, no. Shane McClanahan, no. No. Yeah, so it doesn't look like there's anything here right now. So I do also want to, just for shits and giggles, as the folks say, let's just take a look. Let's just take a look. I'm not going to eat 75% of Casey Mize' contract. We can make one more shop today. So let's just see what we can get if we offer up Casey Mize and don't pay any of his contract. Not a whole hell of a lot. I mean, we could literally just move on from the contract if we wanted to. We could pick up like Jonathan Fairchild, or we could, I don't know, Jacob Matone. All right, so we're not going to do any of that right now. So let's just go ahead and, I mean, who knows? I mean, we could play lights out here in May, and all of a sudden, we're back in first place, and we're looking to add to the team rather than subtract. So we pick up another victory for Baltimore, and I'm not going to look at every box. Oh, look at that. 4 in the top of the 9th. We were down 3-0. Scored 4 runs in the top of the 9th. Nicaragua went 5 2/3. Our bullpen came in, pitched pretty well. All right, so let's just keep going. Keep simming ahead. Yeah, so we're going to go up until July, like we normally do. And then we'll do the July episode next time, which will be international free agency, first-year player draft, and the trade deadline. So there may be a move or two made in this episode, depending on how the rest of May goes here, as we are half a game out of first place. So, an 11-0 loss. Yeah, the Royals are going to be a real problem, and they're not a look at Nate. Oof. Are you kidding? What do you 3 home runs? 2 home runs, drove in 8. Who got the start in this one? Sanders. Not good, Will. All right, so we've made a bit of a run over the first week. We're a game and a half out of first place. Offense looks a little bit better. Pitching staff still isn't where it needs to be. Grayson Rodriguez is getting really good, though. But I can't. I mean, he's down to $10 million, but I can't afford, because if you look at Nicaragua, yeah, he wants $20 million, but that number's actually down too. So, maybe first things first, let's make sure our minor league systems are set up correctly. We're going to leave Balog and Jones in high A to start here. We'll see how the beginning, Balog has already pitched really well in his first 2 starts. So, yeah, he's gotten better. Look at that. He got better once the season started. So I think it's safe to call him up. Hayden Jones only made 1 start. I think it's probably good in Double A too. Cam Collier. Yeah, he's gotten off to a rough start in Double A, so he'll stay there for the time being. Fermit Hased. We'll probably move him up to Triple A here shortly. Zarate. Not having a good start in A-ball, but that's fine. I just need him to work on that control, man. All right, so no trades yet. We're going to keep going. I noticed that Ken Giles has continued to struggle, so that may be a move we make sooner rather than later before he starts to lose value, because he is a 4-star reliever who isn't making a ton of money, and that does have value. So half a game out of first, we're up to 5 games over 500, and we are in first place at 23-17. So that's what needed to happen. I just needed you guys here watching, because I played that first month offline, and it didn't go well. So even Casey Mize has gotten really hot. 3 decent starts in a row. Nicaragua has gotten really good. His last, you take this start out, he's dropped his ERA by almost a run. But Hancock and Grayson Rodriguez are the two that continue to get it done for us. You can see Giles at 1 and 2 with a 5.51. I think it's crazy to move on from our closer right now, but wow, nobody offers a deal for Ken Giles. Okay, it might not be an option then. What if we ate? Okay, so if we eat some of his contract, we can get something back, but is it anything of substance? I mean, I don't want to trade him just to trade him. So look at that, Tariq Skubal is in the minor leagues now. So he signed a minor league deal with the Cubs after pitching that half inning last season with Baltimore. So Aaron Roberts, ooh, he looks pretty good, and he's an ARB. Well, he looks okay. How long is he out for? 2 to 3 months. That's a pitcher I might keep my eye on. Because this is the kind of pitcher we need. He's ARB eligible, so he's still, under our control here for at least a couple of years. I mean, his ratings aren't great, but that's the type of depth that I think you need. Not going to trade with Kansas City. Harold Galindo. He's another one. He's making the minimum. He's not even ARB eligible yet. He's 26. So there are a couple options for Giles if I need to move on from him. I wouldn't mind, though, moving on from Jimenez. That $5 million, and he's hitting 228. Yeah. Let's try it again. Let's see if, and I would eat part of the contract. See if this has changed at all. Good power bat. 39 home runs a year ago in Reno. Oops, not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go here. Yeah, it doesn't really have any splits. I mean, he's a good power bat. Michael Harris, a pretty good on-base guy. Let's see. He's 28. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a pitcher like this if he was 24, but given that he's 28, I don't know where this extra development is going to come from. I wouldn't mind someone like this, but I don't want to make a deal with the team that's currently fighting us for first place. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to make them better. Alcantara's not a bad pitcher, but again, he's making too much money. Barrera's making too much money. The Angels. Yeah, there we go. I don't care that he's out, but he's making the minimum. We won't get him back this year, but we get a 5-star ground ball pitcher who can throw 97 to 99. Sure. That trade makes sense to me. It's not a deal that you would make, but it's a deal that I would make. And that's all that's really important. Can I add anything to it? What about Mario Guerrero? Good power. Okay, so they don't like that. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for something to add to this, but I always feel like you have to look for something to add. It just makes more sense. No chance with that. And then we get down to 2 stars. So they don't have much in the way. I mean, you can see here they don't have much in the way of prospects, but Okay. Well, I'm going to pull the trigger here. Let's see if I can get them to... Okay, so they'll eat the entirety of the contract. So that works for me, so I'm going to complete that deal. The fans, they like us picking up Andy Taylor. And what that's going to mean is I'm going to move Braylon Bishop back onto the active roster, put Andy Taylor on the injury list, put him on the 60-day so he doesn't take up a 40-man roster spot. And that gives us another elite bullpen arm to pair with Beal, once Beal and Takelet, for that matter, once they come back from injury. Nicarag's up to 5 stars. I got to figure out a way to bring him back. So we got to go into lineups, and we got to stick Bishop in there as our backup outfielder. That still doesn't help our left field position, as we still have Jeff McNeil playing left field, but that's a problem for another time, not for right now. So Bishop. We got Walker in as the DH here. Do we just bat Ball against? Yeah, I mean, we just put Ball in as the DH, and we'll stick Walker in left. Excuse me. All right. So, okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sim ahead to the end of May. Do that offline. We're 24-17. We will recap the team, recap the roster, and we'll see what we need to do in June. So I will be back in just a second. All right, we're back. It's June 1st. We're 32-23. We are a game and a half behind the Cleveland Indians. It was a better month for us really across the board. We don't have the top offense in baseball. I never thought we would this year with the changes that we made. That being said, some of the players we've come to expect have gotten off to difficult starts. Again, Lou is only hitting 245. Myers only hitting 240. Ball's only hitting 219. Some of the players that struggled in May really picked it up. Elijah Green got his average up to 217. He's up to almost 1 WAR, on pace for 38 doubles, 15 home runs, 65 RBIs. Wouldn't be great, but yeah, we knew, right? We knew that offensively he was going to struggle this year. He's been very, very good defensively, which is all we really need. Same thing with Josiah Morrissey. The average, I mean, he's got that OPS up to 706. His OPS plus is up to 89. But defensively, he's getting it done as well. So we knew that we were going to take a step back offensively to take a step forward defensively. Casey Mize went out for a couple weeks with an injury. He's pitched really, really well. Doesn't change my potential plan, though, as Grayson Rodriguez, again, the amount he's asking for keeps dropping, so I'm hopeful that this gets down to a manageable number. And then Nicarak, his number's dropping a little bit too. The issue is that even if we do trade Mize, we can't afford both of them. If we get Mize off the books next season, drops us to take $11 million off. That drops us to about $96 million, which is about where we are now. And if we're at 96, it means we have about $17 million. So we could potentially bring back either Rodriguez or Nicarak, but probably not both. Our revenue is up because we're playing pretty well. So and our fan interest is up, which is nice. But if we trade Mize, or if we need to expect that we're going to take a bump, a fan interest decline bump there. But again, let's take a look. Let's come in here and let's just see if we offer Casey Mize and eat 25% of his contract. And I will likely back off of that if I can find the right deal. He looks pretty good. His contract is up at the end of this year, though, so that doesn't help. These guys. Gunnar Hoglund. I mean, we could get someone who is still on his minimum. Jackson Jobe. I mean, he's ARB eligible. Got good stuff. His movement is better than Mize. His control isn't nearly as good. He's got 3 really good pitches. I mean, that might... And he's only 24. Ooh, I wasn't planning on pulling the trigger. But Jackson Jobe looks like a solid return. Huh. We go after someone like Austin Strickland, who looks like he might have a bit higher floor, but a bit lower ceiling. He's been used in relief. He's a ground ball pitcher, has 4 decent pitches. We may make a deal here. Gunnar Meyer. If his stamina was a bit higher, and again, his stuff is based off him being a reliever, not a starter. Henry Baez. He's fragile. Joe Boyle. He's obviously a closer, but I wouldn't want to make the move for another closer, I guess. Carter Young, no. All right, well, let's take a look here. Who was with Cincinnati? So Jackson Jobe. So if we go back to 0 here. Oops, why am I in commissioner mode? Oh, I know. I was checking I don't remember who it was. I was checking to see if what somebody's ratings on another team would look like if he was a starter versus a reliever. Anyway. All right, so if we make this offer, they want Jordan Walker. They want Alexis Armelini, Balog, Castro, Collier, Greenlew, Walker. None of those players I'm willing to give up. Can we get another? Like, if I give you Jordan Walker, which I'm not saying I will, but if I give you Jordan Walker, can we get someone to replace Walker this year? Josh Samuel is a better defensive outfielder. And this is going to turn into one of those deals where I end up having to give up more than I would like. But I like Jackson Jobe. He's only 24 years old. Last year was his first full year as a starter. He was negative WAR a year ago. And why was he negative WAR? Because he gave up, gave up too many hits, too many walks. But at 23 years old, pitched 175 innings. And if we do this, it weakens us a little bit this year, but puts us in a better, because we could immediately re-sign Grayson Rodriguez for half of what we would pay Casey Mize, and Rodriguez has been better for the last year and a half, and he's younger. I feel like this is a deal that I should be making. So is there anybody? Cincinnati's rebuilding. I don't know why they would do this if they're rebuilding, but I'm not going to question it. Is there anybody else that they would give up that could help us this season? Henry Gargis. Uh, 30 home runs plus defensive skills. Yeah, I mean, he's better to, again, we're going down this path where and I don't even really know how much we're sacrificing our offense, because if you look at Gargis, he's actually as good as Jordan Walker offensively. He's only a year older than him. He's better defensively. He's a better bat. Pete Lavin doesn't like this, but I feel like this is not a terrible deal. I think I'm going to pull the trigger, guys, here. So you tell me in the comments how you feel about this deal. I'm going to mess around here, for a second and see what I can do to make this a little bit better for us. Where was he? Henry Gargis. And Cody Schreier would be really good. They won't. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to give him to me. It's a ridiculous thought, so I'm not even going to try. Look, it's not my fault you paid Seiya Suzuki $11 million, okay? So it's not my fault. I think I'm going to pull the trigger here, guys. I think we're going to move on from Casey Mize. And we're going to go with Jackson Jobe, the 24-year-old. Gargis will replace Walker, and then we can immediately look to re-sign Grayson Rodriguez and then hope that at a bare minimum we can offer Nicorak the qualifying offer at the end of the year. If not, re-sign him altogether if his demand comes down. Looks like I got to throw in one more piece, which is fine. You want a 26-year-old second baseman? You can have him. All right, pull the trigger. Okay, so slight decrease for the loss of Casey Mize and a noticeable bump for Jackson Jobe. So that, okay, well, actually it kept us at the same number, which is interesting, but all right, so we pick up Jackson Jobe and we move on from Casey Mize. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. And so that means Pinango. Well, see, here's the deal. Pinango can get on base. Maybe I stick with. He's a left. They both bat lefty. They both bat lefty, which is, and that was okay. So that was kind of, I don't want to say it was a dumb move, but it was a move, and that was part of the reason we were sticking with Jordan Walker is because he was that right-handed bat to complement Jeff McNeil. So Pinango to AAA. We'll call Gargis up. Gargis can back up in left and right. We don't really have a... No, I guess we do have a backup center fielder right now. It can be Verdugo when Green gets tired. That's fine. Caranto can come in and back up at third. He can get that playing time at third base. Gargis will be the backup. DH as well. Do I have 14 pitchers? I do. Okay, so that's... Okay. I thought my roster looked, or my offensive roster looked a little thin. Send him down, and who do we want to call up? No one's performing well enough to be obvious. So maybe we call up someone like Ison Diaz, who literally was just we signed him at the end of February to fill out our minor league roster. We'll just do that. All right, so it's June 1st. We picked up Jackson Jobe from Cincinnati in exchange for Casey Mize. So now we've got some money. So now immediately let's go here and talk to Grayson Rodriguez. He wants 8.5 for 4. What if we give him 3 at like 7? What if we do that? He's okay with that. I think that's a manageable deal. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Yeah, so 3 years at 7. Can we do that? Can we move it over to a team option? Okay, so it's 2 years at $7 million each with the third year a team option. So we'll go ahead and offer that. So that doesn't leave us a lot of money left. $5 million for extensions, $22 million for free agents. That does mean we can add to this year's payroll if we need to. It still means we don't have nearly enough to sign Nicorak, but we can get there. So make him a long relief, make him a long relief. And now let's go ahead and sim up to the draft pool. Take a look at the draft pool, see what options are going to be there for us towards the end of the first round. We're 2 games out of first, 3 games out of first, as we're taking on the Indians right now. Okay, so we beat them there, so we moved to 2 games out. Has Joe pitched yet? No, he's pitching today. All right, let's see how his first game goes with us. We're 34-24. We're 2 games out of first place. 35 and 24 as we win 6-3. Jobe went 5 2/3, 8 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. I'll take it. Stefan and Giles close it down. Hero homers twice, drives in 5. Very nice. All right, so we are 35 and 24. Got a lot of mail here. Batter of the month in the AL was Bo Bichette. In the National League, Jose Ramirez. Casey Mize picks up the AL Pitcher of the Month as he's traded to the Cincinnati Reds. Kohei Cobb wins the Pitcher of the Month AL. Jeff Murray, the Rookie of the Month. And Muneta Murakami, who was that first baseman who was on the free agent market. Yeah, I mean, he signed an 8-year contract with the Cubs. I wasn't prepared to give him that long a contract, so... Isan Diaz, we call him up and he immediately wants a contract extension. All right, let's take a look at the trade block. Anybody on here of interest yet? No, I don't think we necessarily need a bullpen piece right now. We could use an offensive piece to help push us over the edge, but right now there's nobody here that I would really want to move a significant piece for. All right, let's get up to the draft pool. Get up to the draft pool. We'll see what's available. We'll take a look at the stats, and then I will sim ahead till the end of July, and that'll be the episode. Good stretch here. We're 37 and 25. The Indians are just playing lights out baseball as we win. How many in a row there? 3 in a row. So we lost 1 out of 3 to the Indians. And then swept Seattle. So a 12-2 win. 4 hits for Collins. 3 RBIs for McNeil. 3 RBIs for Verdugo. Rodriguez pitches. Has he said anything about the contract yet? He hasn't. No. Okay. Ooh, Randy Arozarena's career is over. That's tough to see. And a 4-2 win for us. De Los Santos got the win. Hancock went 5 1/3, and then a 3-2 win in 10 innings. Home runs from Caranto and Ball. Nicorak pitched pretty well. Bullpen pitched well. All right, so rookie draft. So we are picking 28th right now. They have us taking Bryce Rayner, who's a very, very good defensive middle infielder. Could play either second or short with those ratings. Bat is probably... playable, but at the bottom of the lineup. Wow, C.J. Strauss, 100 contact. That would be a nice pickup. They probably have him going at the top, right? 10th. Okay. Draft pool. So again, I mean, you don't draft for need, so you draft the best possible player. It looks like there are some decent bats in this draft. A lot. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pitchers that are 3.5 stars or higher. My guess is none of them make it to me, but if one of them fell to me, that would be a relatively easy pick, I think. And then there's some good 3-star pitchers in here as well, like Ed Bradley. I mean, look at this. He's really, really good. So it looks like another solid draft class for us. If we take a brief look at our statistics, we're not going to go. I'll look when we hit July 1st. I'll come back and we'll look at stats. But 4th in runs scored, 6th in runs against, but the pitching has gotten significantly better. We're still not hitting for a lot of power, but we're scoring runs, and that's really all that's important. Myers got his average up. Lou is having a really, really difficult season this year without Torkelson batting behind him. I'm hopeful that he just bounces back the second half of the season. His ratings would suggest that he will, but he's struggling in that cleanup spot. Ball's not having a very good year. Green is sort of stagnated around that 210 mark. Still a positive WAR hitter. I think just because of his gap power. Still doing a really nice job defensively. Pitching-wise, Nicorak has had a pretty good month. Last few starts have been pretty solid. Grayson Rodriguez, we're still waiting on him to agree to that contract. Jackson Jobe pitched well in his first start. Hancock's pitched pretty well. So, yeah, our starting rotation has been pretty good. Sanders hasn't been great still, but he'll be fine, I think. Bullpen has been pretty good. Some decent ERAs here outside of Giles and Doyle. So I am going to go ahead now, guys, and sim ahead to July 1st. When we come back, we'll do a review of the team stats. We'll look at standings, league leaders. We'll look at our minor league system, and we'll call it an episode. So I'll be back in a second. All right, it is July 1st. We end up May 51-31. So if we go to, why is my mouse acting like this? If we go to our info page, so we were 12-15 in April, and then we were 28 in May and 19-8 in June. So again, basically all I needed, I guess, was to press the record button on OBS, and the team would snap out of it. And the season is currently playing out, knock on wood, exactly as I wanted it to play out. We are second in batting average. We are first in runs scored. We are second in ERA, and we were fourth in runs allowed. So, bit of a dip in offense, while our pitching staff has significantly improved. And we actually we lost the last 3 games of the month. We got swept by Minnesota. We had a really hot streak there at the end of June. You can see, look at our month here. It's just a crazy month. So we lost 2 out of 3 here, or we lost 2 games here to Cleveland, split that 4-game series with them, and then we won 8 in a row. Then we lost 3 in a row. Then we won 8 in a row. Then we lost 3 in a row. So win 8, lose 3, win 8, lose 3. So that was our month. It's a pretty nutty month, to say the least. It's international free agent signing time. We'll just briefly take a look at that when we get a second. Looks like a pretty good starting pitching prospect there. Player development. Stefan got a little worse. Brote got a little better. Sanders got worse. Rodriguez, he did sign his contract. We did have to negotiate a bit. He came back to us and said $7 million isn't nearly enough, and then wouldn't really take. He then bumped his demands up to like 12. So we settled on 3 years at $30 million, with that third year being a team option. Again, not overly cost prohibitive. He has pitched really, really well in the year and a half that we've had him. You can see he's 19-4 in 36 starts for the Tigers. 33 starts for the Tigers. He's 19-4. Pitched 200 innings for us, 170 strikeouts. Basically, over the course of a year, he's gone 19-4 with 170 Ks and 188 innings. Apparently, it's only good for a 2.5 WAR, but it's good for a 1.22 ERA plus. So he's been fantastic at age 27, so I'm happy with that. Nicorak dropped a little bit, but he's pitching really, really well. His demands haven't really come down. He's still looking for 23, 20, 21, 22, $23 million. If that continues to drop, we may be able to make something work at the end of the season. I don't know. Jackson Jobe has gotten off to a pretty good start with us. He's 3-0. He's got a 5.33 ERA, but you look at his 5 starts here. 2 runs in 5 2/3, 1 run in 6 innings. Then he had 2 rough starts against the White Sox and the Reds. Then he pitched 8 innings of 1 run, 3-hit baseball, striking out 10. So pretty good start there for Jackson Jobe. Anything else of note? Lou got a little worse. Kai Caranto got better. Braylon Bishop got better. Elijah Green got better. Average still, he's still only hitting 215, but at least he's stagnated at 215, and he's not dropping below that. Hayden Jones has pitched really, really well in Double-A. He might be up for a promotion to Triple-A before the year's over. Cam Collier, he's only hitting a $198. His contact is going up. He thinks he should be playing in the majors. Defensively, he could be, but he can't be hitting a $198 in Double-A and expect to get called up. So, Brady House, we picked up in the offseason, up to 2.5 stars. We'll just leave him where he is. Zarate, he's pitching better in A-ball now, which is nice. So I think it's time to move him up to high A. Pitcher of the month batter of the month in the AL, Austin Meadows. Cody Bellinger wins the NL batter of the month. AL relief pitchers, Ken Giles, who was 11 for had 11 saves and 12 relief appearances, 11 strikeouts and 3 walks in 11 innings. He didn't give up a single run in June, so I'm glad we didn't move him. Junior Santos of the Mets wins the Pitcher of the Month. AL Rookie of the Month, Jace Grady. And in the National League, Angel Rodriguez. So let's take a look now let's go to our pitching stats. So Nicorak leads us in WAR. He is 7-3 with a 3.84. Striking out, not really striking out a lot of batters considering what his stuff is, but 7.3 Ks, only giving up 0.8 home runs. Emerson Hancock has been really good. Good for about 2 WAR. Also striking out less than a batter, not a batter per inning. But he's not giving up any home runs. The opponent batting average is quite low, so he's done nice. Eater hasn't given up a home run in 30 innings. He's been really, really good as one of our setup guys. Abel's been solid, really solid as a bullpen piece, much better as a bullpen piece than he was as a starter for us. That being said, the ARB estimate for him next year is close to $4 million, so I don't know about that. Stefan's been pretty good. We talked about Grayson Rodriguez, 3.52 ERA. Although his FIP is 4.63, so that tells me he's gotten a bit lucky. But I don't know. I mean, maybe he's walking a few too many batters at 3.5. Home runs, I'd like to see a little bit lower, but I mean, he's been fine. He's been better than Will Sanders, who is struggling this season, seems to have sort of leveled out as a mid to upper 4s ERA style pitcher. Adam Hill's been pretty good in the bullpen. We talked about Jobe. And then De Los Santos has been pretty good. But he's another one who his ARB estimate is a lot higher than what I would like to pay him. So he's probably done after this season as well. Sproat has only pitched 7 innings. And then Doyle has been really bad, actually. Negative 0.6 WAR. So we may look to move on from Tommy Doyle at some point. Offensively, Verdugo leads us in WAR. He's having a really, really good year for us, on pace for 53 doubles, 24 home runs, 936 OPS, and a 6.2 WAR, all while playing above average, or average, I guess, this year defense. Lou has come around a little bit. He's up to 16 home runs, on pace for 32 and 87. Still on pace for over a 6 WAR. So he's still on pace for a 6 WAR season. But still not quite what we've come to expect out of him. Same for Marcelo Meyer. He's on pace for really a better WAR than he had last year, but I mean, maybe it's just an offensively down season. If his WAR, if he's at a 4.6 WAR, no, I mean, his OPS plus last year was 151. This year it's only 114. So I'm not quite sure why his WAR is on pace to be better than, he's on pace to play another 30 games, but still, he's been down a bit, but, we're going to leave him in that 3-hole right in front of Lou and just sort of see what happens. Keston Hiura's had a nice year for us, 13 home runs, on pace for 26 and 87, on pace for 3.5 WAR, over 800 OPS, and we have him locked up next season as well if we want to bring him back. If we want to move on from him and try to go a cheaper route, we can, but we have him locked in at 6 next year. Elijah Green, again, he's in the mid 200s or in the low 200s with his batting average. Still on pace for 2.5 WAR. Still doing a good job defensively. This is exactly what we wanted out of him. I mean, we would have preferred more offense, obviously, but the offense he's giving us along with his defense is manageable. Frankly, he hasn't been any worse than Parker Meadows was a year ago. Josiah Morrissey has come along nicely. OPS of just about 700, a little bit below average with the bat, but again, he's getting it done defensively. So we really improved that infield defense. Jeff McNeil has, not hitting for a lot of power, but on pace for close to an 800 WAR, or 800 OPS, 2 WAR, almost 40 doubles. So he's doing okay defensively. He's been surprisingly average. So I'm content leaving him where he is. Bryce Ball is doing what he does every year, which is get off to a really, really slow start and then pick it up. I mean, he's right on line from a home run perspective to be where he was last season. His OPS looks to be a little bit lower, but he could continue to pick it up as the season moves on, which is what he's done every year he's been with us. Corey Collins, the power's not there. It's a bit surprising. Only 4 home runs this year. His OPS, though, isn't, I guess that's because his on-base percentage is a bit higher, his average is a bit higher. Still playing good defense, and that's all I really care about out of him. he and Cartaya have been a good combination. Although Cartaya is another one, his ARB estimate jumps up to like 3 million next year. If that's actually what it is, I'm probably not going to pay him that. Kai Caranto, he's positive WAR, but I think that's probably due to his defense. He's not really hitting. What does fielding stats look like? Yeah, he's above average at every infield position. Gargas has come in 9 for his first 34 with 3 home runs, so I'll take it. And then Isan Diaz we just called up. So we have a little bit of money for extensions. We still have quite a bit of money for free agents. So if there is a big name free agent out there on the trade block who can improve us offensively, we can take a leap at it and eat the entirety of the contract. Right now, there's nobody there. There's nobody there that I would say is kind of that piece to put us over the edge. But there may be in July. And if there is, we've got the money to invest and make that improvement. If we are looking to improve anything offensively, I would say probably a left fielder. Jeff McNeil hasn't been bad, but I would like more of a power bat in left field. That would probably be the position I would look to improve on. Nobody else in the lineup has really underperformed expectations. Obviously, Elijah Green hasn't been great in center field, but we knew this was about what we were going to get out of him. So say I'm disappointed in his offense would be unfair, I guess. But the rest of maybe if there's a catcher out there who's a good bat as well as good defensively, we can move on from Cartaya and make Collins the backup. But I'm fine with Hira at first. I'm fine with Morrissey at second. Fine with Lou at third. Fine with Marcelo Meyer at short. Fine with Green in center. Fine with Verdugo in right. And then Ball, if he has the second half of the season similar to what he's done each of his first couple of years with us, I'll be fine with him at DH. Pitching, our pitching's been fine. Maybe we can find an elite bullpen piece to slip in here, and be that stopper role. But left field and then maybe a bullpen piece and maybe a catcher is kind of what we're looking for because our starting pitching has been fine. Pipeline. Green is, we've just talked about him. Zarate, we just called up. Cam Collier, again, not hitting. So he's going to stay in Double-A until he does. We'll probably call him to Triple-A next season regardless. But, I was hoping that he might be somebody who could help us this year or next. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Jordan Castro, where is he right now? He's an A-ball, and he's hitting pretty well in A-ball. Defensively, I don't know what his position is. Maybe right field with that arm. What happens if we make him a right fielder? I think maybe we try to force him into right field and work on that positional rating. See if we can get that up into the 50s somewhere. The other Castro, Roger Castro, I think he's still in the international complex. Yep. Armelini is in the DSL. Hitting pretty well, but he'll remain there for now. Balog, how's he doing since we called him up to Double-A? Really well. So we got 2 pitching prospects in Traven Balog and Charles Hayden Jones who could potentially be in our starting lineup next season. And if that's the case, that really puts us in a position to be able to move on from Nicorak, offer him that qualifying offer, get the draft pick, and then work from a position of strength. Maybe move on from Will Sanders, or I wouldn't want to move on from Rodriguez, Jobe, or Hancock just yet, because number one, they're either young or they're relatively cheap. But we got a couple minor league pitchers who could be a factor next year for us. Justin Bailey was our first round pick in 2026. He's still having a tough time in rookie ball, but he'll continue to stay there and he'll work it out. Jake Desmond, good bat, no real glove, but he's still working on that short. His ratings are really, really good, so I'm hopeful that they will continue to see if we make him a shortstop, force him to play there every day. Hopefully we can start to see those ratings improve, because that's, if those end up as his offensive numbers, he's a great bottom of the order bat. We talked about Andy Taylor. We get him back in 2 months. Takelet will be up probably this year. If not, worse next year if that control improves. He's going to be an absolutely dominant reliever as a ground ball pitcher. Coliano, Brady House. Yeah, so we've got, I think he's another one. Is he not? I don't know if he's getting that playing time. So let's set the game strategy and force him into catcher to see if we can get some positional ratings, because we need him playing. He's got great ability, good arm. I just need that rating. So that's where we stand from a prospect perspective. So we are 51-31. We are a game and a half up on the Indians. If we look at the league standings, best record in the American League. So we are right back in that position that we are accustomed to atop the American League, and that's with a 3-game losing streak. Still the best record in the American League. Alex Verdugo, 3rd in batting average, 2nd in OPS. Bryce Ball, 16-game hitting streak. Grayson Rodriguez tied for 2nd in wins. Ken Giles leads the American League in saves. And let's just quickly look and see how Casey Mize has done since going to Cincinnati. 3 games, 16 2/3, 18 hits, 6 home runs in 16 innings. So he's been he's been worth negative half a win, and Jobe has been worth half a win. So that deal seems to work out. Mize is also fragile, and now we're not on the books for 4 years at 24, 39, $56 million over the next 4 years. So I would say that is a solid deal. Let me know your thoughts, guys, and next time we will do the July episode. We will do international free agency, we will do the first-year player draft, and we will go up to the trade deadline. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.